Set with the Wise Guys. Here are your hosts, Paulie and Vinny.
All right, it is time for another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
I'm J. Anthony McCarthy,
I'm Steve Sabo.
and we are two men of a certain age trying to make it as actors and entertainers in this town of Los Angeles.
Land of Lala.
And we have managed, as we've done the last couple of weeks that we've been live in the studio, to get a special guest tonight. Our special guest is a good friend of mine named Cheetah Platt, and that is Cheetah.
That is Cheetah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We got somebody from Africa here?
No.
Northern California.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a good story behind his name, and we're going to get to that at some point in time.
He doesn't have any spots.
Have you looked closely at him? This
I know.
guy is
I've got
freckles
them all
all
over.
over.
See
There
these
they are.
things?
There they are. Well, hey, Cheetah, come on.
Hey, buddy.
Welcome to
It's
the
good
show.
to be here.
Yeah.
Drinks
show.
at Sunset.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Already.
So we're very happy to be here. As always, we talk a little bit about our lives as actors in this town, and Steve and I are gonna open up, talk about a few things. If something pops into your head, please feel free to jump in. But then we're gonna come back around and we're gonna aim our questions at you.
Got it. I'll be ready for that.
Sounds good.
So typically,
Well, hey, Tony, you look fabulous.
I'm a lot
Absolutely
happier.
fabulous. Now it's better to look good than to feel good.
feel good,
You
yes.
look marvelous.
Marvelous.
And I
Billy
see-
Crystal is going to be calling you for some royalties.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
But,
And I see you have a new cast on, new brace.
a new brace, yeah.
So
Call
tell
it
us
what you
about
want.
it.
So this
Bionic
is,
leg.
Yeah, man, it's what it looks like, huh? So
And your
what's-
leg's bent.
Yeah,
That's
that's what's
encouraging.
fantastic. It's so a month after having completely ruptured my quadricep tendon, which attaches the big muscles of the upper leg to the lower leg, so you can do kicky motions or just lift your leg up in the air, stuff like that.
Walk.
Walk. Yeah, exactly, and stabilize the knee. The surgical repair apparently went as well as it could be, and what we've done is we've gone from a completely immobilized knee to a brace that allows me specific range of motion that I'm supposed to use, and then in 2 weeks they're going to change it and give me a longer range of motion, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm actually able to walk, limp. But,
So you're becoming Homo erectus, is what you're saying.
yeah, that's kind of where I am right
That's
now.
fantastic.
And the agent is sending him out to all the handicap
So you've
auditions.
moved up a new diagram. You were like this, now you're up like this, and pretty
Exactly.
soon you'll be standing straight up.
Exactly
Yeah.
right, which is fantastic. The only other problem that's been going on has been the kidney stones, which have been a bear this whole month. But last week I finally got to see, a few days ago, I finally got to see a urologist. And because of the length of time and everything that was involved, to make sure that I didn't lose kidney function, because they didn't know how much it had actually done anything for the last month because the kidney stones were in the way, they put in what they call a stent. A stent is a long plastic tube that has holes in it so that when they shove it up inside you and bypass the stone.
Now, tell me, this shoving it up inside you
Yes.
thing seems to
Was it
require more
consensual?
details.
I just want to know if it was consensual.
It was totally consensual.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
It was one of the most demeaning and uncomfortable and mildly. It was not mildly painful, but it was
erotic.
No, not even. I had to. One of the nurses that was both of the nurses were very cute, believe it or not, and
That always helps.
And I'm sitting there with everything covered except my junk.
What should be covered.
Right, exactly, and had absolutely no inclination for excitement.
Wow.
And it was, and then the doctor came in and stuck it right up the hole and had to push it up past things to. And the basic thing is, once they get it inside, is they have it goes from the bladder to the kidney, so that the kidney can drain to the bladder, and then the bladder can
bypass the stone.
Exactly.
So you get that function back without pain, hopefully. Right?
Yeah, and
good.
And the thing was, it sucked getting it past the stone. He's like, "All right, you're doing great. Now I'm putting a wire to slide past the stone," and that was, I was like, "Oh, it's a little uncomfortable," And they said, "Okay."
You turned into the Hulk.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Okay, now I'm going to push the stent past," because what he does is he feeds the stent up the wire, because that was the guideline.
Oh.
And then they take the wire out, and hopefully you pee. And the first thing he said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Your left kidney is very happy and it's draining great." And I'm like, "Well, thank you so much." Except I didn't say thank you. I was in shock. I literally was shivering and like, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, not really, Doc. Think about, he's like, I know, it's terrible. I'm sorry. But I have an appointment next week to see a surgeon. If the stone hasn't dissolved, because they're still giving me stuff to try and hopefully dissolve it if it's in there, if it's the right kind of stone. If it's not dissolved, they're going to surgically remove it somehow. There's a bunch of different choices. So things are progressing.
Would one
finally.
involve Raquel Welch? That's all I wanna know.
Well, one of them does
Fantastic Voyage.
involve a camera that goes up there. So, if they could miniaturize it like that, it would be much more comfortable for me.
I heard there was an interior laser that was going to dissolve this
That's
rock.
that's one
That
possibility
sounds like
as well.
Fantastic Voyage with
That's-
Raquel
that's
Welch. Yes.
one. There's
That's
one
the one
of
I'm
a
rooting
couple
for.
of yeah. That's one of a couple. But from the standpoint of health, mobility, hope, light, I'm in a much better place than I was, and I am literally 40 pounds lighter than when I started.
Hey, I'll drink to that, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that. That's awesome.
And
One of
I'm
the
doing my best to make
odd
sure it stays there.
benefits, I would say, of anything is the weight loss, which is fantastic. You look
Which
great.
I needed to do. And this is the thing, and I was just talking to Cheetah about this before we started. Every bit of reading that I've done on kidney stones, there's 4 different main types, blah, blah, blah. Even if you have a genetic predisposition to the stones, you can help prevent them for yourself by drinking a lot of water. Constantly keep yourself not
There we
alcohol,
go.
water.
There's water in there somewhere.
But to drink, just to hydrate.
Yeah.
Because you need the kidneys to pee it out and function.
I drink water all day.
And the other thing is, don't get fat, because that's the thing. Obesity and lack of hydration contributed as much as anything to.
Don't
this.
get fat kind of solves a lot of things.
Yeah.
It really does.
A lot of health
And,
problems.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, go down the gambit of anything that's bad. Usually, it's because someone's overweight, and that's one of the tie-ins.
Yeah, it can be a contributing factor to just about everything.
just about anything.
Yeah.
Just about everything.
Diabetes, cancer, yada yada.
Yeah.
yada.
So this is a big deal. I'm gonna, I'm working on keeping my portion control as my appetite comes back.
Well, keep doing
And-
it, man.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
And hopefully lose another 30 or 40 over the next 6 months,
Be beautiful.
and then maybe
You'll be strong like bulls.
Yeah.
strong like
And I'll drink to that. Everybody grab the water glass.
Well,
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
This is my water for right now.
like
I
that.
drank
So
water
good.
all day
right,
today.
so- but that's my week now. Since we're on me and we're talking about. Go
Didn't
ahead.
you say you got a call or you spoke with somebody?
Exactly
I want to hear.
right.
I want to hear about that.
So, in keeping with the idea of talking about being an actor, trying to stay positive, be aware of stuff, I got a wonderful phone call from my manager,
Okay.
Carrie Vach of Spotlight Management. She had just celebrated her birthday over the weekend. She'd gotten to spend time with people she loved and do a lot of good things. Calls me, just wanted to check on you, see how you're doing. I want you to know that I'm still submitting you for things because I know if it's a good part, and I'm only submitting you for good stuff. I'm only submitting you for guest star roles, things like that. I know you'll make it. I trust you, and I want you better as soon as possible so that you can get to these things without having to sweat them.
Yeah.
This was the phone call I got. Not,
That's
well,
awesome.
call
Yeah.
us when you're better and we'll
Exactly.
see
That's
what happens.
awesome.
No, she's still working for me, man.
That's great.
That's great.
And then the guy who owns the management company, Scott Vandiver, I got a lovely email from him just like a day or two later saying, we miss you, get better so we can, get you out on really good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And that's an interesting concept, that this is a world where you can actually still work through many different kinds of injuries.
Yeah.
I had a friend, he had a major brain surgery, and it took him out of everything, and he had this giant, huge scar. He was a good-looking guy, and he had this giant, huge scar going down his head. But his agent sent him out for a couple roles, and after the surgery, he comes in and he walks into a room, and he was playing a bad guy, and so he walks into the room with this
big scar.
real, scar going down his head, and he got booked instantly like that just because he had a look that no one in
one else
LA
had.
could.
All right, we need a guy with a
acquire.
scar. Who's
Yeah,
coming in
exactly.
next? Hey, a guy with a scar.
that guy, I mean, we don't even have to spend money on
Yeah,
that,
exactly,
so
right. And so it was really interesting
All right,
to
who
see.
did the
you know,
makeup? Oh, that's a hat. You had an X in your head just recently removed. Okay, you're hired.
Yeah, that's fantastic. See, and that's another one of those kind of just like, hang in there. If this is what you need to do, if this is what you want to do, and there's nothing else for you to do, because I've had so many different teachers and actors and everything else. It's like, if this is what you love, if you can't live without it, then then that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
If you can picture yourself doing anything else, go do that.
What do you mean, like making money?
Well, it's there to be made. It's
Yeah,
just a
sure.
matter of
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people who are creating different streams of income.
Yeah.
I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So
Yeah.
working on that. So, but that's my week. That's where things are. This is my little bit as an actor in LA. So Steve, how about you, man?
Well, I thought you never asked.
Yeah.
You and your perils are inspiring me. So today I got out on a focus group gig
Oh, nice.
that Craig used to work at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the place still called me. So Craig, if you're listening, Facts and Figures is going strong, and they got me in for a taste test.
Ah.
And it's all computerized, which is cool because I did them where you actually had to handwrite answers and stuff. For now, everything's like questions. You like this A, B, or C, or you like. Tell us what, did it taste great? 1 to 5, really good, maybe awful, that kind of stuff. So it's just pressing buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
But
What were you tasting?
I can't say because I'm sworn to secrecy.
Okay.
But
just
it was
like
a taste
the
test.
type of
But
food or the type of
it was a drink.
beverage?
It was a drink.
beverage.
It was a beverage.
Usually I go in for food tasting. Like I've done a couple McDonald's, like French fries. I did French fries. I did an egg McMuffin taste test. And I did a quarter pounder taste test. I had to eat 3 quarter pounders.
Oh, I feel bad
It's
for you.
dreadful.
I know, it's terrible.
I feel
I
terrible
got
for
paid
you.
to do that. But anyways, so I had to, and one of the instructions was you had to drink your 4 ounces of liquid and empty the cup before you answer any of the questions.
Huh.
And I was a little uncomfortable because that's one of the first times I walked in a strange room and I'm usually filling the cup instead of emptying the cup. So I didn't know how to react to that. So, but anyways, it was in and out, 45 minutes, $40. I'll take it.
Yep.
It's the multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
Being an actor.
Just.
But I did get something from my day job. We've got a transition going on. The guy who is the head manager of the location got promoted, and he just moved
San Diego,
to
right?
San Diego. Well,
Right.
he started there on Tuesday of this week. So the guy who was the service manager is now the head manager, and we got a new service manager from another location, I think Oklahoma or something like that. So we don't know who this guy is, and I'm now reporting to this new guy, even though the service manager who's now running the show knows us and knows me. So you kind of still walking on eggshells because you have a relationship with this guy, but you don't with this guy, and you're now reporting to this guy.
And you don't want to be stepping on toes.
Well, that is just, he doesn't know you from Adam, so you're kind of almost starting over in a lot of ways. Well, he comes up to me today
Yeah.
and says, "Hey, Steve, you're doing a great job. We're getting a lot of the quotes or the increase for quotes that you're submitting. I'm going out on personally, and I think they're going to start turning in some jobs, which means you'll get some spiffs and stuff like that, little bonuses out of it." But he's like, "Great, keep it going, man. You're doing great."
Yeah.
So here's a guy I don't know from Adam. Now all of a sudden, just like your manager, it was a good conversation to have with
He's
a guy.
aware of you, and
Now
he's aware of you in a positive way.
Yeah, and because it could have been just the opposite. "Hey, Steve, what are you doing? I haven't seen anything. Nothing's coming through." Because I don't know what goes or not.
Right.
I just
You
submit
do
and
your
go out.
stuff and
I
go.
go out and talk to people. That's what I'm really paid to do.
Right.
So that was kind of a neat thing. That
That's
was pretty
good. That's
And
good.
then,
And any spiffs that come through would be very timely.
yes, I got one this week coming in hopefully, and then I should have another one because he said one of these is coming through, and then. I had to turn in all my stuff for the after-school program with chess on Monday. We had to get together. I ended up playing chess with the top instructor.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Who
and he
actually
didn't-
knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's the guy who runs it. His name is Roger, and he's a good chess player. But Roger, this guy circles, he just destroys
Yeah.
everybody, and Roger's very proud of him. His name is Emil. And he's a top. He's a level 1,000 or 1,100. I don't know what that
Right,
means, but
right,
it sounds pretty technical and
Yeah.
pretty like this guy's a pretty good chess player. Well, it only took him 45 minutes to beat me, so I feel pretty good. But he was toying with me, which was really cool. And I'm like, I picked to play you, so I would be done in 4
Yeah.
moves, and then I could watch everybody else play. I didn't want to spend a 45-minute.
Man.
But he kept scratching his head every time I moved, and he would go over to Roger. "Roger, see what he just did?" And he's like. He goes, "Yeah, he didn't do what we thought he was going to do."
Huh.
That's interesting.
That was
And
interesting.
that's
So
a good
I was
thing.
so bad. He didn't know how to beat
Yeah,
me quickly.
He's not playing like he wants to win.
I
don't
know he's not doing obvious move. Why is he moving there when I can take him here? Well, anyways, he was at the end. He ended up obviously checkmating me about 5 different ways, but it was fun. I enjoyed watching him go through that process. And the way I'm looking at it is, I should have played him a couple more times just to see how his thought process is, because I know what I'm thinking, but I don't know what he's thinking until he does it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't play him, you don't get to see it.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting.
That's still cool. I think that speaks highly of your brain. So,
Yeah.
So that was your week.
That was my week.
All right. Well, we're gonna now talk to Cheetah a little bit.
Yeah,
So-
let's bring Cheetah into
I had
this.
a week too.
yeah.
Hey.
That's fantastic. So Cheetah,
Well-
first of all, how do you?
Wait. Let's before
You wanna do a little break?
before we get into the
All right, so we're
the
gonna
world of
talk to
the world
Cheetah.
of Cheetah.
Yeah, we're gonna leave
Let's
this
take
as
a-
a cliffhanger right
Let's
now.
take a little break here. What do you say? And then we'll come back and we'll talk to our main guest here.
Yeah,
Cheetah
so-
Platt.
Perfect.
My name is Mighty, last name Voice, and I'm riding on a mountaintop on my trusty horse. I never leave my radio at home. I've Excite Radio on my phone. Listen live, interact, stay connected.
ExciteRadio.com.
We want you to take the shows with you, so subscribe to our podcast at iTunes or tune in live every Friday from your desktop or your internet-ready mobile device and listen live.
Excite Radio.
It's time to build your website. But are you feeling overwhelmed on what to do next? What's the first step? What do you do? It's simple. Just give us a call. At Excite Media Los Angeles, we specialize in professional website development. For over 14 years, we have created well over 1,000 custom online experiences. From small businesses to enterprise, we can handle projects of any size. Need a mobile app? Want your site to do something unique? Looking to revamp and revive your existing site? We've got you covered. For more information, visit our website at xmla.com. or call us at 818-985-2464. Excite Media Los Angeles, Web Development.
Katori Magazine has been reborn. New articles, new features for those who demand to stay on top with what you care about. Music, art, politics. KatoriMagazine.com. A different kind of magazine for a different kind of generation. Katori Magazine. Are you looking for the newest information before it hits our site? Then join us on Twitter at twitter.com/Excite Radio.
All right, we are back with Drinks at Sunset with
The
Wise
Guys.
And Cheetah.
And so now that
That's
we're
J.
here,
Anthony
J. Anthony
McCarthy.
McCarthy,
I'm Steve Szabo.
right on, and Cheetah Platt. So first thing I want to do, I've known you for a number of years, and you and your entire family, it's just a spectacular group of people.
Thank you.
And so many eclectic interests, so many different things. You are an entertainer, but how do you define yourself? How do you put it for yourself? Like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Now I do a lot of different things, but I keep coming back to the fact I'm an actor.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
how do you look at yourself? And
Growing
don't tell
up,
me I'm mirror.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Growing up, I always consider myself a performer. Whatever it was going to take place on a stage. I didn't know what it was going to be on the stage. I was really interested in acting and singing and dancing and kind of traditional performing arts. But then I started getting involved in stage combat, which is where my family met you, and
Exactly.
through other kinds of motion and movement and creativity on stage and just creating a show, a performance. So I always kind of consider myself as a performer, and I never specialized in anything, which kind of got me in trouble. When you go to an audition and you're not the best at anything, you don't get cast in anything, because they're going to take the best in that room.
Right.
And it wasn't until after I'd gone to college and kind of was out in the world performing professionally for a lot of different companies that I found circus arts and aerial arts, and that's when I kind of started figuring out that I wanted to specialize in this. I'd always been a mover. I'd always been involved in kind of acrobatics of sorts.
Physical stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
lots of physical stuff,
Yeah.
but never specialized. And so in about 2006, I really started focusing and specializing, becoming an acrobat and an aerialist. And so I really found myself being completely involved in these physical acrobatic world, and I really defined myself as an acrobat for a while until I realized that that's one of the most foolish moves you can do, because it pinpoints you in one place and you can't do anything else. So
So
started branching out again.
what would be an aerialist? What would be some of the types of things you could do in that field?
Yeah, so anytime you go to a Cirque du Soleil show or any traditional circus and there's someone hanging from the ceiling or whatever apparatus it is, if there's someone flying around in the air, they're an aerialist. And so whether you're hanging on cables like a lot of stunts do and they do wire work, that can still be considered an aerialist. You know, they hire a lot of aerialists to do wire gigs and gags for movies and that kind of thing.
Sure, right.
But whether you're on an actual swinging trapeze or doing, silks or lyra or net or chains or anything hanging from the ceiling, that's what I really enjoyed. I loved the feeling of flying and being suspended and flying up in the air.
Now, here's one of the things, because most of the time when you think of acrobats, you think of very compact human beings.
Yeah, that's...
You think of people that are,
Like me.
like often they're
That's what
they're
I
like
always picture you.
from 5 foot to 5'8", and they're tremendously well muscled and everything else, but they're
Again,
not very
like
big
me.
because a lot of it is being able to have your center of gravity really tucked in and all this stuff. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4", just over 200 pounds, big, long, stringy guy that is way too tall to be doing
That'd be
any
a
of this
tall
stuff.
drink of water there.
and has the core strength and everything else to make it look effortless.
As much as I can, it is not effortless, and certainly
no.
being a bigger guy learning a lot of this stuff, my technique and my form and the way that I approach these skills is exceptionally different from the way I teach when I travel across the world and I teach workshops and I teach other acrobats how to do this skill. I say don't exactly watch the way I do it, because I'm going to do it slightly different because I'm literally twice as tall as you, and I cannot do it the way I want you to.
Right.
So it's always been a little bit, I don't know. I've had to adapt what I do a whole lot, and coming from a dance background and a movement background, I was always able to kind of recreate the motions that I saw other people do. I was able to recreate them within myself, and that allowed me a lot of expression when I'm performing.
He's a marine acrobat. He
That's
overcomes, adapts. Yes, sirree.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, now, performance. I mean, you came from a relatively large family, a lot of kids. So you played together. You had an astonishingly wonderful upbringing, as far as I'm concerned.
Our definition of our family was 7 kids growing up in the country without a television.
Yep.
And that inspired and instilled creativity and imagination that we would not have got living in the city, and we wouldn't have got it if we had a television right there to do all the imagination for us. You know?
And that's one of the things, talking about imagination, everything. The group of you. Just the raw intelligence of every one of the kids involved in this family is astonishing to me. It's such a pleasure to talk and hang out and be around you guys. So seeing that.
Now, are you born and raised?
That means a lot coming from J. Anthony McCarthy. Let me tell you that right now.
Well, of course. Now, Cheetah, you obviously you're not from Africa, but are you born and raised in California?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Northern California, about 2 hours north of the Bay Area.
Okay, so what brought you to L.A.?
I originally went to San Diego for college.
Okay.
I dropped out of college and started performing for different touring shows for a while. Went back to San Diego for several more years to finish college, but then started performing down there. I ran a circus down there in Mexico for a while, and then I decided I was sick of really hustling in San Diego to get kind of smaller gigs, when all the big shows
stuff
that I was contracted for was always coming out of LA. Any big contract that I got, it was always because I knew some production company in Los Angeles, and they knew me and they would hire me.
So what would be a big contract? Give us a description of what that would entail, and for what length of time, things like that.
Yeah,
because we can equate it to something like a play or a movie or a TV
exactly.
show.
The difference between a co-star and a guest star and something like that.
Yeah. For acrobats and aerialists, it really comes down to whether or not you're doing contracted shows that are kind of long-term shows. That's, in many ways, that's getting a series regular on anything.
Got it.
And you may not love your act, or the role you play, but if it's a paycheck and you're getting it every week, that means the world to an independent contractor.
Right, absolutely.
People, forgive me for interrupting, but people who are in shows like all of the Cirque du Soleil shows in Las Vegas, that would be that kind of thing.
And in many ways, the public sees that as the epitome. You know, when you're working for Cirque du Soleil, you're with one of the most well-known companies, and you're performing in Vegas for thousands and thousands of people every week from all over the world. You know, it's kind of the epitome of things. But for an actor who's doing their bit role on a series show, you know, where they're getting seen by millions every month, it's not the thing they love. You know, they're really hoping for that really juicy role. That's something totally different. And it's like that way for a lot of acrobats and aerialists, where once you take that contracted role, all of a sudden you don't get to create a new act anymore. You're doing the exact same show every single day. You know, and so it's a lot of people are drawn to kind of corporate event work, where you might only do one show, you know, this whole month, but it happens to be in Dubai and you're performing for Cadillac and it's their giant conference. And so you're getting paid, you know, literally sometimes it can be 100 times what you would be performed or paid for a single performance with, you know, Cirque. You get paid 100 times as much, but you do a show once every other month, you know, and so it goes very drastically different in pay scale and how they treat you.
So what's
and travel, everything.
That's fascinating. So what would be the ultimate gig for you? What would be the one that you? I know it would be for me. I want to do a sitcom in a 4-camera because you know, your Monday you do your read through, Tuesday you do a little blocking, Wednesday you're off, Thursday you come in and do a little adjusting with it, and then you shoot it live in front of an audience. Right? It's like a part-time gig.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're paid a ton of money, and everybody, you know, and it's so easy. You're in and out. I mean, so what would be that gig for you?
You know, for me, I've really focused a lot on the creation aspect and the being able to present something on stage that I can look at as mine. And that was something that actually drew me away from TV a little bit for a while, was that I felt like my performances were never mine. You know, once I gave my good performance, it went to editing and it went to this. And then, you know, a lot of people collaborated to make it theirs. But during a live show where I'm on stage and I'm swinging around in a circle upside down, there is nobody that can change the way I look except for me, you know, and I loved that aspect of it. So as an aerialist and as an acrobat, the act of creating your act and being able to say, this is mine, these skills are mine, I can do them. And maybe, you know, very, very few people can. You can find certain things that your body does better than others after training it a lot, you know?
Right.
And so that's something that has always really, really inspired me, is that you can look at certain people performing and I can tell, you know, oh, that's Pierre, you know, that's this guy, because he's the only guy that can press from a one-handed handstand down to Kraken straight back up without kicking his legs, you know, like specific skills that are like, that acrobat has his act and it's amazing.
Yeah. And what you just said impresses the hell out of me, because I know the amount of strength and balance and everything that you'd have to be able to do that without kicking back up.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
My God.
So there's a guy right now, he's based either in Utah and Vegas. There's 2 places he goes. And his name's Royland, and he does one-handed hand balancing like nothing in the world. I mean, there's one-handed hand balancers all over the world. In LA, there's dozens and dozens of guys that can do lots on hands. But there's one guy I know that can do his act. There's nobody else that could ever recreate his choreography.
I'm doing a little one-hand balancing right now.
Perfect.
So now, with your background, there's some eclectic stuff. One of the things that I really didn't know about until we became friends on Facebook was the fact that you are you're an international dance judge.
Yeah, there's a whole world of cheer and dance that a lot of people don't see. Back, you know, several years ago, there was a show, you know, Dance Moms came out. And
Oh my God, yeah.
A lot of the competitive dance world was introduced to America. You know, it's a huge multi-million, if not billion-dollar industry. But if you're not in it, you do not see it. Yeah. And so there's events every single weekend all across America where there are thousands of girls competing, and there's millions of dollars being spent on each and every event. And so it's this huge industry. But like I said, if you're not in it, you don't see it. And a lot of people kind of go through it as a cheerleader in high school, but they never really get involved afterwards. You know, once they're done cheering, they're done.
Right.
And so a lot of people have gone to competitions once or twice, but they never really get involved in the industry. And about, I don't know, 6 years ago, I started to get involved as a choreographer first and as working like through these productions. And then I got asked to judge a couple events, and they loved the way I judged. They loved the comments, the feedbacks, and just the way I interacted with the performances. And so they started asking me to judge larger and larger competitions, until now I'm paid to fly, pretty much all around the world, and I judge international dance competitions, and it's been really amazing.
What kind of dance? I mean, is there any specific styles, or is it?
Yeah. There's very specific styles, very, very specific things that you're going to mark down for, mark up for. Every score sheet is very different, and you really have to understand the technique that goes into creating this specific style of dance. For the most part, jazz, pom, hip hop are the top three, and then outside of that, it depends on the competition whether they're going to have a tap, category, whether they're going to have several different categories within hip hop for co-ed, for large group, for all male, for international. All these different things go into creating each specific genre of dance.
Okay.
That is categorically, judged and critiqued.
So would you say you're more like a Paula as a judge, or more the other side of the spectrum?
My favorite comment is "right on, brother. That's real good."
So who's that?
You got it, dog.
You got it, dog. There it is.
That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
What's so funny? It's just so ridiculous. I'm not a huge fan of reality shows or anything like that, but So You Think You Can Dance.
There you go. I knew you liked that one.
That show, it is an addiction for me.
Yeah.
Every time it comes out, I'm never happier than seeing the auditions.
Yeah.
And stuff, and they've got a formula and they do stuff, and I've heard stuff about Nigel that makes me unhappy with him. But for God's sake, overall, that show as a competition show, I think it beats just about everybody because they're not cutting each other's throats to win, and they're getting to work with some of the top choreographers in the world who, okay, they made it to the top 100, they made it to the top 50, they made it to the top 20. They didn't win, but they got to dance with this person. And if they did a good job, even though they weren't the number one person, they're going to get work.
Yeah.
And that's
made some good connections.
Yeah, and that's a big deal to me. It's such a cool thing to me and everything. And of course, just seeing the grace and beauty of the dance, and just like how often I can be moved to tears by it. So
one of the most incredible thing that they have been able to do is right now, outside of So You Think You Can Dance, you are not going to see artistic expression in dance. There's no music video that is going to try to put together this artistic and creative and emotional expression, because that's going to cover up the lead singer who's supposed to be taking the credit and becoming famous. So they don't want to put these incredible movement behind them. But So You Think You Can Dance, even if they're in 1 minute segments, or sometimes 3 minutes, they actually put art on the stage, and they allow for growth and expression on the stage, where a lot of places, you're just not going to see that kind of attention paid to the performance aspect of it.
Yeah, and that's including the fact that they have some of the best choreographers and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. It's just amazing to me. So that's not a part of your.
No, I have been offered to work with a couple reality shows, but I have not taken them up yet. Not for any real reason. I'm sure that I will at some point, but I kind of don't want to take the small role yet and then get stuck there. I want to, hopefully I would love to hold out until they really want me, and I can instill a better role for myself, a better place in that show.
Right.
So we'll see how it works out.
And a better paycheck.
Yes,
Pulling
exactly. That's what I
pulling
mean.
Sylvester Stallone. Okay?
Yeah.
He says, "Hey, I'm
it's
not
smart.
going to sell you this script called Rocky for $250,000 and then have you cast somebody else. I'm going to hold out. I'm gonna. It got up to they ordered like almost $1 million, but they still wanted someone else to play Rocky. And Rocky and Sly said, no, it's me or nothing. And he held out he got it done.
He was destitute when they offered him.
Yeah, he was living in his car.
He had sold his dog.
Yeah, that's right. He sold his dog.
What?
Yes,
He had
yes.
sold
How do
his
I not know
dog.
this?
This is one of the best stories.
gosh.
And I'm pretty sure I actually read it as opposed to this just being apocryphal.
This is documented.
He had sold his dog, and that's how poor he was, and then he finally was able to sell it with him attached, and he went out and bought his dog back.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Yeah, so he was able to do it. But it's
think
like
about
that's how poor
think how
he was.
easy it could have been just to give it all up and say, okay, I got for the little, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's face it. It's life changing in some respects. But he held out and he had a vision and he stayed true to it, and more power to him, man.
And that's kind of the thing. That
So I
happened
get
to
it,
be
I get
the
it.
most incredible
Sly
role.
gets it, too.
Yeah, exactly. Sly gets it.
Right.
I'm gonna get that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, Sly
gets it.
Sly gets it.
I like
But that's
that.
the kind
That's
of creativity that you want attached to the performance. You know what I mean? And when you're just doing a series regular where somebody else is writing it and they're telling you exactly how they want you to deliver this and kind of creating that character for you, it's hard.
He's fishing for a role, and we pick the winners. You know that.
Well, I've wanted him to be a part of things for a while. Him and Boone, and if Cy was in town, I'd
You
ask
can
Cy
tell
too.
because
but,
he knows I write and produce it. So he's schmoozing with the right guy.
I don't know what he's talking about here.
Oh man, it would be great if when we start shooting that again. It would be great to have you, play
Absolutely.
with us.
Absolutely.
And the way we do it, it's not something where you'd have to be there week after week.
No.
It could,
Jump
the
in when you
character
can.
could slide
Yeah,
in
we
and
can
out. So
have you come in and
Yeah.
out whenever you want.
And you don't have to know anything about football. We don't. He actually knows something about football.
A little bit.
Steve
bit.
Steve pays attention.
Little
He
bit.
studies the stuff and everything else. I'm one of these heart guys. Like I'm like, oh, so and so, I like that guy. Okay,
Yeah.
Because that's and I
I
understand
hear that
the game.
football is some sort of a sporting event. Is
Yes,
this true?
yes.
And you know what?
Yes.
That's a great idea, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But let's take a quick break
I
here.
like that idea.
Let's do it.
And we'll come back and talk a little bit about movies and sports, some of
I
our
like
other
that.
favorite topics.
And talk a little more to Cheetah Platt and go from there.
Okay.
Zoo FX, Creative Specialist. We specialize in motion graphics, visual effects, 3D animation, DVD menu design, and professional website development for motion picture, broadcast, and the professional who is looking for the next level of discovery. Call us for an appointment at area code 818-888-0200 or visit us online at thezoofx.com and come see what we have to offer you and your company. When was the last time you've been to the zoo? Zoo FX.
Norman's Rare Guitars, the one-stop shop for all the celebrities, rock stars, and wannabes.
Check out them there Norman's Rare Guitars. It's a pretty damn good website. They got a whole bunch of cool brands of guitars that you can buy.
Check out normansrareguitars.com.
We specialize in printing and product manufacturing for advertising and marketing. We look forward to serving your business's printing, mailing, and marketing requirements with competitive prices and superior customer service. To learn more about what we can do for you and your local business, visit us online at promedia.la or call 818-947-1605. promedia.la.
When was the last time you really thought about what you were listening to? Did it make you feel? Did it inspire you? Did it motivate you? Did it make you rock hard? And you ended up getting stuck in your vacuum? Oh, God. Enjoying Excite Radio's multiple streams for your particular mood will help guide you through your day. Getting started in the morning, enjoy some chill music. Already had your caffeine and busting your ass through your day? Enjoy some rock. Feeling kind of hard after lunch? Enjoy some hip-hop. Get angry on the drive home with some hardcore and fall asleep to instrumentals. All commercial-free and only featuring original unsigned music from indie artists across the globe. This is Excite Radio. Listen to the future.
All right, we are back with more Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
I'm J. Anthony McCarthy.
I'm Steve Sabo.
And our guest is...
Cheetah Platt.
All right.
There we go.
You were actually
I know.
ready to
I was
jump
right
right in.
I was right on it. I was so ready this
Man,
time.
I'm sorry. I
Damn.
felt like I totally cut you off.
That's enough, Cheetah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's enough.
Hey, this is the last thing I want to do. I could talk to Cheetah all day about all the different things that this guy's involved in and what he's doing and stuff like that. But
All his great accomplishments.
yeah, his name.
Ah, yes.
That was your reaction when I told you my friend Cheetah Platt. You were like, "What?
Yeah.
How does he spell it?" And I said Cheetah, just like the animal. So, and I know it's a wonderful story, and I wanted to put it in your hands if you're willing to tell us where it came from.
So, for those of you who aren't seeing the video output here, my name is Cheetah. I'm 6'4". I'm redhead with freckles. And back in the 80s when I was born, I had a little, for the first 5 years of my life, I had a little rat tail in the back, right? And I had long hair in the back because I lived out in the country, and that's how little country bumpkins cut their hair. So My parents accidentally named me Benjamin, and I don't know why they would do this, so I decided to rectify this terrible thing. When I was 5 years old, I walk into the house and I go straight to my mom, and I have this great idea. I tell my mom, Mom, I want to be called Cheetah because I've got spots, and I point at my freckles. I've got a tail, and I point at my hair, and I say, Mom, I'm really fast. And she says, oh, that's so adorable. Go ahead, you're Cheetah, right? And it was just a nickname, but she thought it was so cute, and everybody just started calling me Cheetah. For whatever reason, nobody in my life ever called me Benjamin again after that. After I introduced myself as Cheetah, people just said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheetah. And it was it. And so it was never a nickname, you know. For me, it became my name. And then 10 years later, I was going to go to Japan as a foreign exchange student, and I had an opportunity to get a passport, and it was going to be the only thing in my life that said Benjamin. So I talked to my parents, and they let me. We went down to the courthouse and got all the papers done to legally
Officially?
change my name to Cheetah. So I dropped Benjamin altogether. I kept Russell Platt, my middle and last name, and now my legal name is Cheetah, which helps me get remembered at auditions.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's true.
So CRP, huh?
Yeah, CRP.
I like that.
Yeah,
So
it's
You don't
worked
like-
out fairly well.
So I can't call you Benny.
No.
No. That would be like calling me Jimmy.
Yeah.
I've never gone by James or Jim or Jimmy. It's my first name.
Yeah.
I go by Anthony or Tony,
Tony.
or J. Anthony. That's
J.
that's
Anthony,
it.
yep.
Or as
I remember very distinctly someone probably Cy said, hey, I'm going to go see Anthony. I'm like, who? And he's like, hey, Anthony, we and he describes everything that about you, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, it sounds like you're talking about Tony. And it was just the stupidest. I don't know how I didn't put the two together, even slightly. But I'm like, that wasn't Anthony, that was Tony. What are you talking about?
That's brilliant.
Come on, get with it.
It's so funny because I've got different people who know me. Like growing up, I was Tony. That was my thing. If I ever heard my full name, that was from my mom, and I knew I was in a buttload of trouble.
Yeah.
But when I came out to Los Angeles and joined SAG, there was already a James Anthony McCarthy, apparently.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just changed it to the initial J.
Yeah.
Anthony McCarthy.
Which sounds awesome, by
Thank
the
you
way.
very much. I appreciate that.
I love it.
So that's the story behind the initial.
Yeah, that's
J.
what it is.
Anthony.
And I have to tell people, no, it's just the initial. It's not J.
So you didn't murder somebody?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have to do that. That's that week.
Didn't have to.
But
Not yet, right?
What's really funny, I worked at I worked on a sales floor at a moving company about 7 years ago, and they already had two Tonys or Anthony's on the floor. It's like, well, I'll go by Anthony. No, that guy goes by Anthony. Well, how about T? No, we don't like T. I don't know. My last name's McCarthy. All right, you'll be Mac. And so that was the way I was introduced to everybody on the sales floor. And I have this small group of friends, a couple of actor friends who came from that, who still insist on calling me Mac, even though once I left the show, the place, I was like, my name's Anthony or Tony. Okay, Mac. It's like, and so every once in a blue moon, I'll get a phone call, like every couple of years, I get a phone call. Hey, is Mac there? And I'm like, no. Oh, wait a minute, who is this?
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
pretty awesome.
you Reno.
What?
So
What are you talking about?
yeah,
What
that's
are you
one
talking about?
of my favorites. So we've kind of covered some stuff, and like, what's a typical? I'm just going to ask you real quick. What's a typical week for you, if there is such a thing as a typical week here in LA?
Well, how was your week?
As an entertainer?
My
How was your
current
week?
week actually. So I'm actually just coming off an injury as well.
I know.
Back
You
about
had a-
six months ago, I got hit on the 405 freeway,
Oh
and
my
I just
God.
want to draw everyone's attention to what's going on right here in the cheetah room.
What?
That's beautiful.
just figured, whenever we talk and I'm speaking,
He
it's gonna
disappeared.
become like this.
He disappeared. I can't see him against
Wow.
the backdrop.
Totally, see? The freckles, they come out.
He's a
Anyway.
he's a ninja cheetah.
Yeah, exactly.
So my week at the moment is a lot of rehabilitation on my foot. I got hit on my motorcycle. My foot was fairly well mangled, is the term the nurse used.
Wow.
So I've been going through a lot of recovery, and being a physical performer, it's been very difficult for me. So having multiple sources of income, like Anthony was talking about, coming in from different little places and being able to travel and judge when I was on crutches, that meant
Awesome.
the world to me.
Nice.
So right now I'm doing a lot of rehabilitation, but I'm going to be opening a show in San Diego. I wrote a show for the San Diego Zoo, and I'm the artistic director, choreographer, and writer for this show, as well as the lead character in it. And it's a cirque show, cirque style. There's acrobats. There's all kinds of people flying around and climbing poles and doing flips. And so I'm in the middle of directing that, choreographing that, and putting it all together. So now, every day there's 2 to 3 hours are spent in the gym, flying around with my partner doing, the choreography, and then another couple hours, recutting the music, talking with the performers in San Diego, and just hashing together this whole show. And that's totally encompassing my plate right now, is putting together this show called Australiana, the awesome Aussie adventure in the San Diego Zoo.
Oh my God, that's
Nice.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And now, how long would something like that play?
That's going to show just for the summer. So 3 months from the end of June up through September.
And are you in it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm the
fantastic.
lead character.
Of course.
In the show, my name's Mick. I'm going to be the Aussie. Super fun. But I get to crack whips. I get to, do slide for life across the whole audience. I get to rappel down to the stage. I get to do all kinds of fun stuff.
You put a shrimp on the barbie?
Yeah, a little bit of it. So that's the character I play over the
Complete
summer.
Awker.
G'day,
That's
mate.
fantastic.
It's,
man.
it's
fantastic.
ridiculous.
It's fantastic. It sounds like so much fun.
So you're basically going to be living down in San Diego for the summer.
Yeah, so I'll actually move out of LA for the whole summer. I'll actually be moving down there in about a week and a half.
Well,
I'll
that's a
go down
shame.
there and stay there for about
San
3
Diego?
months.
Well,
I know,
it's
yeah, exactly.
beautiful. My
I
God.
lived
and at the
in-
zoo, which is one of the best
exactly.
zoos in the world.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
amazing.
amazing.
It's a beautiful
God,
place.
I lived in San Diego for about 7 years and didn't spend a single summer there. Just because, during the summer I would take a different contract and I'd go somewhere else and I'd travel and I'd teach and perform. Like, I was always gone during the summers. And since moving to LA, the last 2 years I've spent the summers in San Diego performing. So I had to leave in order to come back and
There you
enjoy
go.
a summer
There you
in
go.
San
It's
Diego.
beautiful.
Fantastic, man. That's,
Beautiful.
I'm so pleased for you. I'm so glad that
I'm really excited for it.
that you're having this opportunity.
Yeah.
Look, you've created it. This is the thing that I have struggled with, that Steve has struggled with, and everything else, is that we've done what we can to what we can see, what we can envision to create work for ourselves and stuff like that. And most of the stuff that I've tried to do and it just hasn't quite hit. It hasn't quite taken off. It hasn't quite given me that.
It's just not
that
getting in front
boost.
of the right people. I think that's
exactly.
all it
Yeah,
is.
so that's
Yeah.
such a big thing, is you
Yeah.
can create amazing things, but in this world of digital everything, you just need to find a way to market it and pack it and produce it and then send it away to the world and find the person that needs to see it.
But
Exactly.
that's something that
Exactly.
you and your brothers have really done a great job with. You've really done a great job of.
We've been very, very lucky, and that's all I can say to it, is that we try as hard as, or half as hard as a lot of people do, and we've been very, very lucky in a lot of what we've accomplished.
Well, I got to believe there's a fair amount of talent involved in that.
Yeah,
I mean,
talent,
sometimes.
intelligence.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And-
if
and
you're not
stick-to-itive,
talented and have something that somebody wants to see, or
Yeah.
produce something
Yeah.
that's worthwhile, then it doesn't matter how good you market it. It's just they're gonna say,
Yeah,
when
that's
they
true.
see it. You got to have the talent along with the marketing. So when they do see it, they see something there that's worthy of getting behind, which obviously you're doing very well. So congratulations
Well,
on
thank
that.
you very much, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm just
Yeah.
credit where credit's due. So.
Absolutely.
So that kind of covers what I wanted to chat about with you. I mean, if there's anything you want to contribute, if there's anything that you thought of, or
I'll just
or hell,
start
if-
shouting out random
I got a
things.
question
if you-
for you.
if
I got
you
a
had
question
any
for you,
questions
Cheetah.
for
Have you
us.
I got an
seen?
answer.
Have you seen the new X-Men movie?
I have not.
Oh, you
No.
haven't?
No, I know
So,
we're
but
gonna
wait a
we're
minute,
gonna
wait a
get
minute.
into movies, and I'm excited.
Just by
but
his answer tells me he wants to
I
see
know,
it.
I
Yeah,
do.
Me too.
You
I'm
haven't
still-
seen it
I
either?
still- no, dude.
Oh my God.
I've still. The thing is, every morning I get up and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna do that. I've got a stick shift. I can't drive because I can't press
Not
the.
yet.
It's
Yeah.
gonna take. I got in the car today and with the new brace on,
Get
and
some
I realized
blocks on your feet.
Nah,
Blocks.
it's just I need just a little more range of motion than
Yeah.
what this
Yeah.
thing
You'll
gives me
get there.
right now. And
You'll get there.
So I got to wait another 2 weeks.
So I can't spoiler away on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we did have a new movie opening this weekend. It's Maleficent.
Maleficent.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's Angelina Jolie with horns.
Yeah.
So I would, needless to say, she's horny in this movie, and it opened #1.
Oh, okay.
69 mil.
Wow.
No kidding.
Did
Wow.
very well. I think #2 was X-Men with like 30 some million, so
Okay.
not bad. And also opening this weekend was A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Which I'm
and-
looking forward to seeing at some
Yes,
point.
and it did decent because of all the things it's up against.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was some theories behind this. Everybody says, "Why would you go up against the X-Men and
Yeah.
and then Godzilla and then Maleficent and all this kind of stuff? Why would you be?" And the reason is because and I read an article on this, and it made a lot of sense. He says, well, you got to come out sometime, right?
Yeah.
And you might as well come out when everybody's going to the theater. And then when they start talking about the movies where they're doing, they're going to say, and A Million Ways to Die is in third place.
Yeah.
So you're being mentioned without having to put any type of propaganda, any type of promotion behind it. You're always being mentioned that you're in third place or fourth place. So you're getting all that free publicity. So maybe there's some wisdom to it.
Even though you're not stupid.
No, even though you're up against some big numbers. What? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
1,000 Ways there. A Million Ways to Die
in the West.
And there you go. And look
I'm
at it.
starring in this movie.
Yes, you are. It's Ted. But anyways, so not bad. 16.7 mil. So not respectable considering what they're up against. So.
There's another movie that opens tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Oh yes.
Is it
Dawn of Tomorrow or something like that. It's Live, Die, Repeat. Is the tag. It's awesome. The clips I've seen, the trailers look really intriguing.
It looks.
It's like
incredibly well
Groundhog
done.
Day set in sci-fi.
Well, it looks like taking every single first-person shooter that you've ever played and turning it into a righteous movie that's actually well done. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I really hope that Tom can pull it off. There's a lot of things that he's
he'll pull
really
it off.
reaching for.
He'll pull it off.
Man,
The
I'm
guy's
excited
awesome.
for it. I think it's going to be great.
The guy's incredible. I mean, everything he touches, he does a good job.
He's a better actor than people give him credit for.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fantastic article that I read. I wish I could. I should have done, but there was somebody who talked about the fact that. And there he is.
There he is.
That outfit was made out of metal. He says it weighed 85 to 125 pounds, depending upon how they.
Thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that and knowing that.
Yeah. So they did it like that because they didn't want to CGI anything. So.
Yeah.
But there was this
That's
fantastic article in. I'm not even sure if it came out of LA Weekly or anything, but it talked about how Tom Cruise was sort of our last classic Hollywood star.
Mm-hmm.
And that he kind of got screwed by the internet because that whole thing about him jumping up and down on Oprah's couch and all this stuff.
Yep.
It was like 3 seconds out of 8 seconds out of an entire 1 hour show where he had this rabid Tom Cruise fan audience that was egging him on to do things, and he was just kind of pandering to the people.
Yeah.
But this is the clip that got pulled at a time that there weren't 50
and
billion,
it went viral.
channels, and everybody saw, and everybody's like, "Oh, the crazy Scientologist."
Yeah.
Now I'm still not a big fan of Scientology myself, but he wasn't.
They don't
that
want
wasn't
me.
him being a nutbag.
Yeah.
They don't
he was
want
just
me.
him having fun, really.
Yeah, I've gone several auditions down there.
Yeah.
And every time I go into the hall, I don't know what it's called, but I always walk around hoping I get tapped and pulled into the room and try to be sold on fine. They don't want me.
We need to read your midichlorians or whatever it is that they do.
Here's a fun fact. The very first check that I got.
I just want to hear the pitch. I
Yeah.
just want to hear the pitch.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
First check I got, I moved to Los Angeles. The very first check that I got for anything that was filmed on a camera was filming a promo for Scientology.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I was a nurse and they were electrocuting someone. It was a very graphic, disturbing scene.
Oh, wow.
Showing how awful like electroshock therapy or something.
Yeah, industrial. Yeah, they do
but
a
it
lot
was
of
they do a lot of them. And that was my
promotional things
first
and
like official. Hey, I'm
propaganda
an
things.
actor that has been paid to be on a camera. That was exciting.
There you
That's
go.
cool.
I'll tell you what, it was on TV the other day, Collateral, the movie Collateral with
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. What a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
And, Tom's not a big guy.
No.
Tom's not a big, but he plays a big guy. He plays much bigger on screen.
Yeah.
He's a much, a bigger force and presence, and he just commands a lot of respect and all. Because he's next to Jamie Foxx, he's tiny.
Yeah.
But here's a guy playing a hitman, and you buy it. You buy that he's got all this power and everything going on there. So and he's got one scene where some people come in and rob Jamie while he's stuck into the cab because Cruz is on the back trying to take care of some of these hits, and they take Cruz's briefcase. Mm-hmm. And so they're walking down, and Cruz sees him. He comes out and sees him. He says, "Hey guys, come in!" And the guy's got a gun, and so they come back with a gun in Cruz's face, saying, "What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?" Cruz says, "Hey, you don't want to do that because," and the next thing you know, he puts 4 bullets in this guy and 4 bullets in that guy. It just shows just how incredible of a hit guy this must have been because he just knocks him out in 3.5 seconds, and it's like, and you just look, you go, I buy it. This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things.
So Tom Cruise just made that movie.
Yeah.
There was
so believable.
There was the movie Jack Reacher.
I was just about to bring that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys read the books at all?
I read one of the books.
Yeah.
And
My dad probably is still, not was, but is huge Jack Reacher fan. Just, read everything, loved it. My mom would tease him relentlessly for, reading the male version of a romantic novel, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And but my whole family just loved it because Jack Reacher was this, huge, massive, bigger than life,
he's your size, but 50 pounds heavier,
Exactly.
in the book, that's what he was.
More than 50, I always picture him as just being, nothing is going to affect Jack Reacher. If he wants something, he will take it. He's just as awesome. And so when my family, found out that Tom Cruise is
5'8".
playing Jack Reacher,
5'8".
my whole family, we just got hysterical and we're
That's
teasing
including
my
this.
dad relentlessly.
Yeah. And then the movie itself was good.
Yeah.
And he did
he did great.
He does a great job just about
Yeah.
everything. I don't think I've seen a bad role. But I think we're coming up to the end here. I don't know. We've got a little bit of time.
Got a little bit of time. We can.
But
we
hey,
can, so.
the Belmont this weekend. I thought it was last weekend. This weekend, California Chrome's going for the Triple Crown. The money's starting to go away from him now. He was the favorite, but they're saying now he might not be able to last. The extra 30 seconds, I guess. So
because it's the
longest race of the three. So it's going to be very. He's going to have his hands full in this.
So he's got
Hey, there you go.
beautifully marked horse. So,
Get some mirrors here.
yeah,
Well, hey,
I think is it about that time?
I think it's about that time.
All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you, Cheetah Platt, for showing up. This
my
is
God.
such a pleasure
Guys,
to
It's
have
wonderful
you here.
having
Thank
you
you
here,
so
Cheetah.
much. This has
So
been
this
amazing.
this has been another episode of Drinks at Sunset with
The Wise Guys.
Thanks for coming by, man. All righty. We'll see you all next time.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on Drinks at Sunset with the Wise Guys. That's all the great original entertainment we have for you tonight. Join us next week for more original entertainment. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Believe it or not, Playmate of the Year Kennedy Summers told reporters she really did pose for Playboy to pay for school. If she's attending school to be a yoga instructor, someone should tell her they don't have a pose called the centerfold. After refusing to pay off the original owner, yet another racist video from Justin Bieber's past has been made public. Unfortunately, these aren't nearly as good as a sex tape, since the only person Justin Bieber screwed was himself. Charlize Theron bailed on her $4 frozen yogurt tab, but returned later that day with Sean Penn, the money, and a $96 tip. I'm guessing Sean Penn wanted to join her because these days he's looking for any reason to make a comeback. 60 Minutes correspondent Lara Logan's back from a 6-month leave of absence following her inaccurate reporting. Of course, getting reprimanded by your bosses at 60 Minutes is the worst, since they just shake their heads looking at you saying... And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
You can now hear this show on multiple stations around the world. Thank you to our many partner stations and syndicates.